Let's imagine a situation. A Ukrainian woman, for example, is traveling from Ukraine to Poland. In her bag, there's a small first aid kit, for example, broncholitin for cough, Nurofen Plus for pain, or Ketanov, which was prescribed by a doctor. At customs, you are stopped, your belongings are checked, they find that same broncholitin or Ketanov, and you hear the following phrase. This is a prohibited medication. Please step out of the bus or car and come with us. Because what is sold in any pharmacy in Ukraine without a prescription may be a prohibited substance in Poland and other European Union countries. And ignorance of the law does not exempt you from responsibility, and such actions can be punished with a fine or even criminal liability. And today, friends, we will have a practical discussion about what exactly is prohibited, how to check it, and what to do if the medication is essential for you, but it falls under restrictions in the European Union. And if this video helps even one Ukrainian avoid a fine or criminal liability, I will consider it a great success. So please support it with a like, comments, and subscriptions. Be sure to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss updates about new videos. And let's get started. First, let's start with the basic principle. The official EU-Europe portal clearly states that there is no single rule for all European Union countries regarding the number of pills or packages. Medications are dispensed according to the rules of the country where they are obtained, and some medications may be unavailable or not permitted in other countries, even within the European Union. That is, something that is allowed in Poland may be completely prohibited in France. So that's the situation, and it's something you need to understand as well. The main rule is simple. Don't rely only on the fact that the medicine is freely sold where you bought it. Before your trip, you need to check the rules of the countries you are actually traveling to. There are specific medications that are definitely prohibited. Actually, I have divided them into three main categories. And the first category is narcotic substances, psychotropics. Yes, category 1 precursors. What does this include? If you have a chronic illness and need medications from this list, submit a request for a permit in advance. Request for a permit from the Chief Pharmaceutical Inspector. Take a medical history extract with you. Yes, an electronic prescription. The validity period of an electronic prescription for dispensing narcotic drugs is 10 days. The permit for importing medications containing narcotic, psychotropic substances, or first category precursors is issued within 15 days before crossing the border and is valid for no longer than 30 days. And this needs to be done in advance. The links will be in the description below this video, showing how and where this can be done. The second category includes popular medicines with hidden prohibited substances, and this is where the biggest trap lies. For most Ukrainians who freely buy these medicines in Ukraine and then get caught in Europe during border checks. They receive fines or can even face imprisonment for trying to bring these medicines into the EU. Bringing medicines with narcotic or psychotropic substances into Poland, part of the EU, is not allowed. Such medicines include, in particular, terpincod, Nurofen Plus, ketanol, and broncholitin. Prohibited substances include codeine and pseudocodeine, pseudoephedrine, ephedrine, and even a suitcase with broncholitin will be confiscated at the border. That means you could lose your entire suitcase, all your belongings that you're traveling with. Why does it actually happen this way? Ephedrine and codeine are precursors for making drugs. In Ukraine, they are sold as part of regular cough and pain medications. In the EU, they are strictly regulated. In other words, the laws and penalties are different. If you have medicines like broncholitin, Nurofen Plus, ketanol, terpincod, any cough tablets with codeine, or cold medicines with ephedrine or pseudoephedrine in your medicine cabinet, do not take them without documents. And if you can take some alternatives or not take them at all, it's better not to take them, because you can get yourself into trouble for no reason. And the third category is prescription drugs. For prescription drugs, customs officers may ask you to provide an extract from your medical history or outpatient card where there is a doctor's note about the prescription and a special prescription form number 3. Antidepressants, tranquilizers, strong painkillers, all of these are prescription drugs. They can be transported, but you need a doctor's certificate with the specified diagnosis, treatment duration, and the required amount of the medication. The document from the medical institution must be certified and have the signatures of the attending physician and the head physician. And not many people know, but basically things like various antidepressants or tranquilizers, such as the popular Ukrainian tranquilizer Hidazepam, also fall under this category. Next, there is also a quantitative restriction. In Poland, for example, when crossing the Polish border, the amount of medication for personal use is limited to 5 of the smallest packages. This rule applies to all forms of medication. If you need a higher dose of the active substance than is contained in one tablet, you are allowed to take more packages. But again, all of this must be specified in the appropriate document, which is certified by doctors. Now let's probably move on to the most interesting part. What exactly happens if you are found with such medication? There are 3 scenarios. I've outlined the first, exceeding the quantity. This is a common violation, right? Exceeding the number of packages or not having a prescription for a prescription medication. The result is a fine starting at 50 euros and a violation report. The medication is also confiscated. The second scenario is banned substances. For example, if they find broncholitin, Nurofen Plus, or other medications with codeine or ephedrine without documents, the result is confiscation and the opening of administrative or criminal proceedings. Attempting to bring in such medications without permission will already be considered a crime, not just a regular offense for which you might get away with a 50 euro fine. So the third scenario is narcotic or psychotropic medications without permission. Deportation and a ban on entering European Union countries for up to 5 years or imprisonment from 3 months to 5 years. Here's another important detail. Many Ukrainians don't get caught the first time, and they might carry these medications for years. Then, when they finally get caught, they say, "But I've been carrying this for 5 years already." And then they immediately start recording this and ask again. They say, "So you've been carrying these medications across the border for 5 years already?" Well, and there you understand that this is already a completely different type of crime, when it turns out that you've admitted yourself to committing a criminal offense for many years in a row. And in fact, this will also be used against you later in court. So, as they say, ignorance of the law is not an excuse, and it does not relieve you of responsibility. Next. So actually, what can you carry without any problems? Yes, these are all over-the-counter drugs, painkillers without codeine, antiseptics, vitamins, which can be brought in without any restrictions at all. They must be in their original packaging with clear labels. What exactly is allowed? Acetaminophen, ibuprofen, without codeine, aspirin, vitamins, antiseptics, drops, little drops. Nasal drops without ephedrine, insulin, and other medications for chronic diseases with a prescription and documents. By the way, prescriptions for medicine issued in Ukraine are also valid in Polish pharmacies. So you don't even have to bring these medicines from Ukraine. You can just go to a pharmacy in Poland and buy the same medicines in order to avoid these problems. Next, how can you legally get the necessary medicines in the European Union? Why? There are 4 main options. Listen. The first option is a prescription from Ukraine at a Polish pharmacy. If you have a prescription from a Ukrainian doctor, go to a Polish pharmacy. Many prescription drugs are available in Poland under a different name, but with the same active ingredient and in the same dosage. The second option is to consult a Polish doctor. Go to your local clinic in Poland. The doctor will write a prescription according to Polish regulations. If you have National Health Fund coverage or private insurance, the consultation will also be free of charge, right? The third option is approval from the Chief Pharmaceutical Inspector. For psychotropic or narcotic drugs, the request is sent to the Chief Pharmaceutical Inspectorate of Poland. The permit is issued 15 days before the planned border crossing and is valid for no more than 30 days. Write this down. And the fourth option is to look for equivalent medications. Most Ukrainian medicines have equivalents in the European Union with the same active ingredient. Ask the pharmacist to find an equivalent and show them the package or the name of the active ingredient. Therefore, in Europe, you can easily get almost all the necessary and effective medicines without any problems, and you don't need to bring them across the border or have someone send them to you through relatives or buses. Next, let's move on to the practical checklist before your trip. Be sure to complete these 5 steps to avoid problems, fines, criminal liability, and so on. First, check your first aid kit and review the contents of each medication. If you see words like codeine, ephedrine, pseudoephedrine, morphine, fentanyl, or benzodiazepine, these are potentially problematic medications that could cause you trouble. And you could face very serious problems, not just fines and confiscation. Second, always collect and keep your prescriptions and documents. For prescription medications, you need a prescription signed by a doctor and stamped, a certificate with the diagnosis and treatment period, preferably in English or Polish, so they don't have to look for a translator and figure out what's written there. Third, check everything before packing. There's a useful resource, right? yo.europa.eu. The link will be in the description. This is the official EU portal where you can check the rules for a specific country so you don't get yourself into trouble. So save either this video or this website for yourself as well. And when you need it, you'll use it. And the fourth rule is as follows. Do not exceed the limit of 5 packages. For Poland, the maximum is 5 smallest packages of the same item for personal use. And the fifth, if you are in doubt, it's better to leave this medicine at home. It's better to buy an equivalent in a Polish pharmacy with a Ukrainian prescription than to risk confiscation, a fine, or even criminal liability, which doesn't happen often, but as they say, even unlikely things can happen once in a while. In fact, yes, most common medicines like paracetamol, vitamins, and antiseptics can be brought there without any problems, but some that are popular in Ukraine. Some medicines contain substances that are banned or strictly controlled in the EU, and you actually need permits to cross the border with them. Check your first aid kits, check official sources, and don't create unnecessary problems for yourself where they can be avoided. What do you think about this? Write in the comments. It will be very interesting to read your opinion. I wish everyone a great day. See you.